All right, everyone, you are now ready to move on to the final project. You have completed your thumbnail sketches, you chose your favorite, and then created a rough draft sketch. Now it's time to move on to the final haunted house drawing. The subject, of course, is a haunted house. The medium, we are using pen and ink, which in this situation is ultra fine Sharpie. The techniques you will be using are stippling, hatching, cross-hatching, and scribbling or scumbling. Step 1. Using your rough draft sketch as inspiration, draw your final in pencil. It is perfectly fine and totally acceptable if your drawing changes from rough draft to final draft. In fact, that's what would happen if you were writing an essay or starting with a research project. You would create a rough draft and then you would start your final, and the final would be the most improved and the most complete piece. With that said, number 2, please start light with your pencil. There's nothing worse than not being able to erase a mistake completely so that you still have pencil lines showing. So start light. The eraser will be your best friend in this situation because believe me, it's difficult to get the line straight. It's difficult to, get everything just as you want it. So start light. I already said number 3, it's okay to make changes, okay? Your final draft can be different. A little bit. Maybe a lot. I don't know. It can be different. I'm open to it. If you plan to change nothing, however, outline your rough draft in a dark colored marker and trace it onto your final paper or into your sketchbook. It'll save you time. If you don't have a light table, which I don't know many people who have light tables, but you can simply take it up to a window or a light source or even your computer screen and you can trace through that. And don't forget to draw in your spooky characteristics too. I didn't do that in this example over here on the right, but don't forget to do that in your final before you add any pen and ink. Everything should be drawn in pencil first, very light. So now, once you have your entire drawing, you're going to start adding pen and ink, okay, to create value and texture. Start off with just a simple outline, similar to what I have here. Don't add a lot of value or texture at this stage of the game. Just go ahead and get it outlined. Then you can start to add value with pen and ink. You're first going to want to determine where your highlights and shadows are based on your light source. So give yourself a light source. In a haunted house situation, it's probably going to be the moon. So as you can see in my example, the moon is up at the top right. It will be shining down on the house. So everything under a porch or under a cover will probably be much darker in value than like a rooftop. Refer back to the images you used for inspiration to determine where the values are. I don't expect you to just know where a fictitious house, showcases value. So use your images for inspiration. And then also add your textures with pen and ink. You must include at least 3. So as you can see in my example, I have stone in the background, I have a wood texture, and then I have like a scalloped siding. Oh, and a broken window. Okay, so be controlled and deliberate in your pen and ink application. As you can see over here on the left, this is a very sketchy, loose drawing. This is not what we want for this project. That would be great for a plan or a sketch, maybe a thumbnail sketch or a rough draft, but you really want to be controlled and deliberate in your final, like the ones on the right. These are complete. They seem complete. It doesn't feel like any area was neglected. Here are some up-close details of some of my textures. I use stippling to create the textured effect of a broken glass here. I'm using some hatching to show value in my scalloped siding, doing a wood texture here, using random lines or scumbling or scribbling to create the effect of stone over here, and then hatching on the top of the roof to give that a little bit of texture as well. Again, you must include texture and value with ink, not pencil. It's going to be tough since you're used to shading to create those full range of values, but we're going to be using pen and ink for this project. All right, so it's starting to build. Take photos just like this as you work. As you can see, I've got a photo here and a photo here that I've added more value here. I've added a background, a spooky tree. So as you work, be sure to document your progress. Step 3, it's the finishing touches. If you ask yourself the following, you should answer yes to all of these questions. Did I include a full range of values from highlights to midtones to shadows? Did I include at least 3 distinct textures? Did I include elements and characteristics of Victorian or Gothic architecture? And did I add drawings or images to make my house appear to be haunted? If you answered no to any of these, go back and make it happen. So as you can see, my finished product, I've added these spooky little characteristics. It doesn't have to be a lot. You just want to suggest that the mood and the idea, the visual message of this piece is that your house is spooky and haunted. I can't wait to see your work. Enjoy. Have fun with it.